Hey everybody, this is Rebel Builder and I'm back with another TIE Fighter MOC. This TIE variant is known as the TIE Aggressor. It's another one of those extended universe ships that you can see out there. And this one is kind of a fighter bomber. It's heavier than a TIE fighter, but not quite as chunky as a TIE bomber. Kind of lives somewhere in between the two ships. And you can tell by the shape of it, especially the front section here, that it's got a lot of relation to Darth Vader's TIE Advanced X1. Really, I thought this would be kind of an easier build after building Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. I thought I could just kind of take that and build a different wing section here. This ended up being much more complicated and much more challenging, which is a good thing. I don't want to just build easy ships, and I kind of tried some different techniques and kind of came up with a cool design here. I'm pretty happy how this turned out. But the main thing I started with is I wanted to build it in a different color. I went with dark bluish gray on this version instead of just the normal light bluish gray, kind of just to mix it up. But I think, this darker look really fits this ship and kind of fits some of the pictures I've seen online too. So I'm happy with that choice. Let's look at the wing section here, or the solar panels as they're known. It's the same shape as what I did on Darth Vader's TIE Advanced as far as the height and the geometry here, and the width here. I'd go 4 studs here, and I experimented with some things. I kind of looked at a little wider section, kind of went back and forth. Wasn't happy with how that looked. And then I had to get this long shape here. You can see I have a 3x12 wedge plate in there, and getting the black in there to match, that proved to be a challenge. I couldn't just use another black 3x12, otherwise it'd be sticking up here. So I did this combination of this, the modified 4x4 tile, some wedge plates, and then a tile on the end there. And because of the shortened shape up here, it kind of made it a little tricky getting the hinges in here. So I have 2 of them, and I pushed them as far back as I could. But that does give me enough stability, so you can see that the ship is standing up on its own. Now here in the front, you can see, as I mentioned, I use these same techniques as I did on Vader's TIE Advanced X1. I've got some hinges under here, and then 3x6 wedge plates there, and just kind of slanted them back, and then the little rail pieces in here. The pictures look exactly like Vader's ship, so that was a cool technique I got to reuse and worked pretty well. There's also cannons under here. Let's look at these. Instead of just kind of the little cannons in the front here, I mixed it up, kind of have some heavier cannons mounted underneath the fuselage here. And those are really just, a 1x1 round brick and some detail. But I use these metallic dark gray lightsaber hilts on the end. I think those look pretty cool. But the most challenging section, and my favorite section to build, was the back here. Now, as I mentioned, I thought this was going to be really similar to Vader's TIE Advanced, the MOC I built. So I originally kind of had it in here that I was going to use those, the big round kind of wedge plates, and I actually kind of had it worked up that way. Went back and looked at the, some source material, some pictures. And what I do is I just collect a bunch of pictures online, so I can look at them while I'm building. And that just didn't work right. One thing that I really wanted to really capture was how there's kind of this curve in here as it connects into the wings on the side, and then the curve here. And I experimented with some different things and I just wasn't happy, so I changed directions. I have some bricks with the studs on the side here, and I decided to build outwards. That way I could use slopes, round slopes, and then this round piece here. And the whole thing really fit. I'm happy how that worked out. This has some plates here and some tiles, and the geometry all worked in, how it fit into this section, the front section, but also the solar panel on the side. One thing about this connection here between the body and the wings is on this inside I was able to use those inverted tiles, and you can see how that just snugly fits inside of here, right up against what I have here for these brick pieces here. Really happy that that geometry all worked out. And I also had to put some detail in here. It was one of those things that I talk about, balancing between overdoing the greebling and leaving it too plain. So, just some tiles here, a round slope, and then, these flick fire missiles. Those are kind of one of my favorite pieces to use for greebling. A couple of lightsabers back here and some of those round plates with the holes inside. And again, some round slopes here. There's also this cool cannon on the back. And that took a little experimenting to kind of come up with the right shape and the right size. I didn't want to make it huge. And really, it could have been more like a dome, almost like an R2 unit or something. But I didn't know how to mount cannons on the side. So you can see I have this Technic piece here. Some of those round plates with the holes inside. The little faucet pieces here. And lightsaber hilts on the end there. Those really do make great cannons. And there's also these engines on the back. Instead of the engines being up here like on Vader's ship, they're kind of bigger and they're on the end here. And instead of red tiles or anything, I use those metallic silver ones. Kind of did a little mixture of light bluish gray and the black to kind of offset, some of the dark bluish gray, just to break up the color and stuff. But also, it's kind of giving you some blend here with some of these light bluish gray pieces that I can't get in dark bluish gray. And of course, the TIE Fighter hatch piece there. Here's a shot of the bottom. Now you can see these kind of round pieces there, these arches. They do leave this gap here, which is why on the top I covered them up with some wedge plates. But just different slopes, kind of trying to round out this look. Some black, 2x2 round plates there, kind of giving it a little underside greebling, but you don't really see it, so I didn't go too far. And then you can also see how I have the cannons mounted underneath there. Here is a look at the cockpit. You can see some of the detail I did. I do have my TIE Fighter pilot in there, and I do have kind of this bracing piece that goes across the top removed so we can take a better look. I kind of go back and forth on how much detail to put into these cockpits. You can see I use these 2x1 printed tiles. Those are great Imperial pieces. I kind of mix it up a little bit, kind of depends on what kind of mood I am in when I'm building. But you can see more detail back here. I've got some red and then some black grill pieces. I was trying to give it kind of that black and red look of Darth Vader's tie, but it didn't really turn out as pronounced. But I think all of this gave it just enough detail, so that TIE Fighter pilot looks like he can actually fly this ship. So that is all for the TIE Aggressor. If you liked what you saw, hit a thumbs up on this video. I'd appreciate it. But leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this thing. I love talking with you guys, getting your opinions about these builds. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'm already working hard on my next MOC, and I think you guys are going to like that one. And another question I always get is instructions. Do I have instructions? Am I going to make instructions? So I just want to tell everybody I am working on instructions. That's going to be kind of a rollout, as I get going on these, and I think you guys are going to like what I'm doing. But just stay patient, stay tuned, and I will let you know when they are available. And of course, you can let me know which ships you'd like to see first. But I'm sure I have a pretty good idea, which ones you guys really want to see. And I'm trying to do some really good instructions. I want to make a good quality product for you. So stay tuned for that. So other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back soon.